time for round 2. I survived the first ships video, and you guys left a bunch more comments with new weird, obscure, and sometimes slightly concerning ships for me to turn into a video. Now, you don't have to have watched the first part before jumping into this video, but it is recommended, so if editing me is competent, you should see a link to that video pop up right about now. Perfect, so in addition to the rule in the previous video about not having any canon ships, I've decided to add one more rule for this video. No ships with kids whatsoever. In part 1 we did the whole funny bit with the Twitter Jill, and we all had a laugh. But in response to that bit, I got multiple comments of people trying to justify shipping underage characters as long as you ship them with another kid. And that's just a rabbit hole I do not want to go down, because the idea of actively discussing shipping 2 kids during a video makes me very uncomfortable. So for this video and potential future ones, no children. Just like last video, there were a couple of favourite ships that were mentioned the most out of all of them. Some of which I really wasn't expecting, like Celestia and Discord. Now, I sort of get why people ship these two. They are both immortal beings who interact more than once during the show, which means they're basically perfect for each other if you ask any shipper, right? While I do get the appeal, I'm not entirely sure if their personalities would match. Discord is almost always looking to push his luck and find the boundaries of whoever he's hanging out with the exception of Fluttershy, of course. With the calm and collected appearance Celestia usually portrays, I'm not sure if she would appreciate the constant presence of someone like Discord. Another one of the top-ranking ones was Nightmare Moon x Sombra. And yeah, shipping the 2 evil shadow ponies together makes sense. Having them rule Equestria and the Crystal Empire in eternal night while also enslaving the entire population. It's a true heartwarming love story, isn't it? Although, I'm not entirely sure if the 2 of them would match very well. Their motivation and amount of evilness are very different. Luna was mad at her sister and just wanted the ponies of Equestria to appreciate the night, even though it would have been eternal. But King Sombra was just straight up out for blood, looking to get revenge on the Crystal Empire and even enslaving the Crystal Ponies and locking up Princess Cadance in shining armor. It seems his methods are a lot more extreme and plain evil than Luna. Except what he did to Flurryheart in Season 9, of course. I fully support that decision. And lastly, for the popular ships, with more votes than the previous 2 combined, it's Rainbow Dash and Twilight. Also known as Twidash? Or is it Rainlight? I do believe it's the first one, but honestly, Rainlight has such a nice tone to it. Regardless, I honestly have trouble understanding this one. I do get why it was mentioned nearly 10 times. It's 2 of the main 6, and some of the most popular ones at that. Plus, they have the whole episode of Testing 1 2 3 where they hang out together. But what else? Is it because of the whole nerd v jock aesthetic it would create? Or because Twilight eventually becomes the princess and Dash could then serve as her personal guard or something? Actually, you know what? Now that I say it out loud, I do sort of get it. That sounds very cute and wholesome. Even though I personally prefer Apple Dash, I'll gladly give you guys this one. Now, these were the top 3 most suggested ships. Now let's get into some of the more niche ones. All the ships we'll cover for the rest of this video were only mentioned by 1 or 2 of you at most. Starting with the G5 one, Sunny and Izzy. I was honestly surprised this one got suggested so little. I feel like I've seen quite a few people absolutely lose their mind over this ship. But in all the comments I used for the original video, it was not even mentioned once, and only twice for this one. As for the ship itself, I might be slightly biased against it, because, it's Sunny and Hitch all the way for me. However, it does make sense why people ship Sunny and Izzy. They spent the first 30 minutes of the movie just hanging out, being ADHD goofballs together. Not to mention they have the whole song about looking out for each other and having their backs that has been stuck in my head ever since I first watched it. But they would absolutely work well together as their extremely optimistic and go-getter personalities would enable each other so much. There's no denying that. I just personally prefer Hitch and Sunny. Next up, we have a character that I personally never even considered for shipping. It's Rarity and Capper. And for the 95% of you watching who don't remember who Capper is, it's the furry from the movie. And did I miss something here? Because I don't remember there being any sort of special interactions between Rarity and Capper to justify shipping them together. Like, she fixes his coat if I'm not mistaken. But that's just her being generous, for once. You know what? Let me just rewatch the movie real quick to see if I missed anything.
'Cause I'm the friend that you need when you're lost and don't know what to do. I'm your
Alright, yeah, I get it. Rarity calls him charming and gives him this look. Combined with Capper getting all shy and guilty after she fixes his clothes, it's kinda sweet and I do get it. Now, this video has been too wholesome and sweet for my liking so far, so let's discuss some more out there shipping ideas that I saw, like Trixie and Iron Will. I don't even know what to say for this one. Iron Will has like 2 episodes in the entire show, maybe 2 more background appearances, and none of them involve Trixie in the slightest. I don't think Starlight would have even met him either, so there's no way Trixie would even know about him. I know a lot of people tend to ship characters that have never met. Crack ships are very popular after all, but I personally just don't get it. Crack ships in general, but also this one specifically. Depending on if we take pre-reform Trixie, if you can even call it a reform, or Trixie we see in later seasons, would change the dynamic entirely. The nicer Trixie from later seasons with Iron Will would likely turn into one of the most toxic and one-sided relationships you've ever seen. Meanwhile, the mean Trixie from earlier seasons would probably stand more of a chance, as they both seem to love a good hustle and to an extent just straight up scamming ponies. But even then I think it would only be a matter of time before one of them would stab the other in the back and betray them somehow. There were well over 50 unique ships mentioned in the comments under part 1 of this video. About a little under 20 of those were ships that included villains of sorts, like the first 2 ships I mentioned with Celestia x Discord and Nightmare Moon and Sombra. Sombra in particular seemed to be extremely popular, so let's go over all the characters I've seen being shipped with our favourite Umbrum Overlord and rank them. Since we already covered Sombra x Nightmare Moon in the beginning, she seems like a good starting point of reference to use for the next ones. And as everyone always seems to do, let's immediately compare her to her sister. Sombra x Celestia was also in the comments. Now, one of the 2 comments was specifically about the good Sombra from the Reflections comic arc, and the other one didn't specify. So let's just go over both of them, shall we? Mirror Sombra x Celestia is honestly extremely flawed. They have their whole forbidden love story to the point that Celestia was completely fine risking the potential destruction of their worlds just for her long distance booty calls, with Sombra ultimately having to sacrifice his life just to save every pony. This whole story and sacrifice would have never happened if Celestia had just shown some restraint when first meeting the good King Sombra. And honestly, I'm here for it. If I were in Tia's shoes, I would have done the exact same. I understand, girl. I'm here for all of it. The forbidden love, the fact that they turned one of the most evil villains good, them causing their own problems, and the ultimate sacrifice to save both worlds. Yeah, that deserves a spot above Luna in my book. As for Celestia with regular Sombra, I'm honestly not a fan. The idea of both of them being immortal still applies, but she just wouldn't have the same connection as Sombra would have with Luna. Although I would have loved to see Celestia face off against Sombra at some point, where she would have had to deal with the struggle of suddenly facing an evil version of the king she loved. After all, the original disappearance of the Crystal Empire was way before Celestia first met Mirror Sombra. Regardless, regular Celestia goes below Luna. And the next contender is Shining Armor, and honestly, I think it could work. Besides the fact that it's a ship with 2 stallions, Shining Armor's whole focus and cutie mark talent is protective magic. Meanwhile, Sombra focuses entirely on offense and attack. They would complement each other really well with their abilities. However, I don't see any realistic way that the 2 of them would ever get together, unless we start talking about some corruption or dark magic shenanigans. I think he's a good fit right below Luna, but above Celestia. There was another comment, however, that featured a stallion focused on protection that I could see together with Sombra. That one being Pharynx, Thorax's brother. He's already portrayed as being more evil, or well, more willing to do whatever it takes to protect his hive from danger. It wouldn't be too difficult to get the 2 of them together. Sombra promises to protect the hive, while Pharynx helps him out with the defenses, and boom, they're kissing. I honestly think there is enough potential between the 2 of them to put Pharynx above Nightmare Moon. And second to last for this bit, we have Sunburst x Sombra. I know, it's truly raining stallions today. This is quite a popular ship if I'm not mistaken, but I don't really see why. I don't see anything between them that would give me a reason to think they could ever get together. Maybe the stereotypical nerd and jock relationship again? They did recently introduce a punk rock Sombra into the MLP mobile game after all, who just looked... he just looked... Yeah, okay, I get it, but I still think Sunburst gets the second lowest spot, unfortunately. Keeping this punk rock Sombra on screen for a minute, I've saved the top spot for last. The best ship with Sombra... It's me, obviously. Next up, another quick G5 ship. Hitch and Pipp. And wow, we're really just shipping Hitch with everyone, huh? Sip, Pipp, Sunny... I think there was even a comment of Hitch in Discord under the original post I made. But as much as it pains me to say, Hitch and Pipp honestly just make sense. When I first watched the G5 movie and Hitch hit us with this look right as he saw Pipp for the first time, I honestly thought it was over already and that they were going to end up as a couple. Even though I think they would clash quite often, because Pipp is hyper-focused on social media and being popular, but Hitch is a lot more down-to-earth, no pun intended. Regardless, still a good ship that I fully understand. What's next? What's next? No, that's too tame and makes too much sense. That was almost canon and is also kind of boring. That's just wrong. Now that is good taste, but also too lame. I need something to make fun of. There we go, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I went back to look through the comments of the original video to see if I could find the person who suggested this, just because I wanted to see if there was any reasoning behind it. And it turns out that there was. I just like the idea of the character who is obsessed with Rainbow Dash and the character who barely talks to her, yet gets shipped all the time with her, ending up together. I will ignore the rest of the comment as it features factually incorrect information, but I can sort of see where you're coming from, at least from Zephyr's perspective. With how desperate he is trying to get noticed by Rainbow Dash, what better way to do it than to sleep with your colleague / potential crush? It's so bad that that doesn't even sound like an entirely unrealistic thing for Zephyr to try next, but honestly I don't think Soren would show a single bit of interest in someone as dumb as Zephyr. And lastly, Trouble Shoes and Marble Pie. This one honestly raises a couple of questions, mostly, why? Why would you think that the introverted shy girl who is even afraid to talk to some pony as quiet and sweet as Big Mac would be a good fit for a rodeo clown? A pony whose special talent it is to be clumsy and the center of attention. I don't have anything against Trouble Shoes, don't get me wrong, but pairing him with someone as shy as Marble, who would do anything to avoid being in the spotlight, sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Instead, let's pair Marble with Fluttershy, who together would likely have a very wholesome but also the most uninteresting relationship ever. Meanwhile, Trouble Shoes would honestly fit very well with Braeburn. He's always so encouraging of every pony, unless you're a buffalo, but I think he could really enable Trouble Shoes to be more confident in his abilities, both as a rodeo clown and personally. And with that, we come to the end of this video. Make sure to leave your favorite, weirdest, or crack ships in the comments. I'll make sure to use those for a part 3 if this video is well received. Now, where did I leave that punk rock Sombra?